Have you ever looked into your dog's eyes and caught yourself wondering what's really going on inside their head? Maybe they're coming up with a clever plan to steal a piece of chicken from the table. Or maybe they're simply thinking about the next walk outside. Dogs have lived side by side with humans for thousands of years, but scientists have only begun to seriously study their intelligence relatively recently, and what they discovered was genuinely surprising. Our four-legged friends are far smarter than we had once believed, just not in the same way humans are smart. Today we'll take a closer look at how intelligent dogs truly are, how their brains actually work, and why the very same dog can seem incredibly smart one moment and completely clueless the next. First, let's agree on one important thing. What do we actually mean when we say a dog is smart? We often judge intelligence by human standards, logic, math, tests, and puzzles. But that's our frame of reference. Dogs evolved for completely different purposes, for different challenges, and for a very different kind of intelligence. Psychologist Stanley Coren, who spent many years studying dog intelligence, identified three main types of mental abilities in dogs. The first one is instinctive intelligence. That's what a specific breed was originally bred to do. Shepherds herd, retrievers retrieve. Huskies pull sleds. The second type is adaptive intelligence. The ability to solve problems on their own, to figure things out without being taught. And this is where things start to get really interesting. The third type is working intelligence. In other words, how quickly a dog learns commands and how well it follows them. And here's a crucial point. A dog can be extremely strong in one type of intelligence and weak in another. A Border Collie can pick up commands almost instantly, but still fail to figure out how to walk around a simple fence. Meanwhile, a regular mixed breed dog might open the fridge and find food on its own, but spend a whole month learning the command set. So the real question isn't whether a dog is smart or not. The real question is what exactly that dog is smart at. Alright, so what actually happens inside a dog's head? A dog's brain is roughly the size of a lemon. It's much smaller than a human brain, but size isn't the most important thing here. Research shows that dogs have around 500 million neurons in the cerebral cortex. Humans have about 16 billion. Cats, by the way, have roughly 250 million. Sorry, cat lovers. But the most interesting part isn't in the numbers. Dogs use their brains incredibly efficiently when it comes to communication and social tasks. There's a well-known experiment. A dog is placed in front of two bowls. The scientist simply points at one of them. And most dogs choose the bowl being pointed at, even very young puppies. Chimpanzees struggle with this task. Wolves do too, because dogs evolved side by side with humans and learned how to read our gestures. In a way, dogs are specialists in people. Their intelligence is adapted to understanding us, and that's exactly what makes them such unique animals. Now comes the really interesting part. What dogs can actually understand? Words. On average, a dog can remember around 160 words. That's roughly the level of a 2-year-old child. But there are exceptions. A Border Collie named Chaser knew more than 1,000 words. She could fetch the correct toy from a room full of other toys just by hearing its name. But there's one important thing to understand. Dogs don't process words the same way humans do. For them, a word is a sound plus tone of voice plus the situation. The word walk is not an abstract concept for a dog. It's the leash, your mood, and the expectation of joy. Scientists at Emory University used MRI scans to study dogs' brains while they listened to human speech. They discovered that familiar words are processed in the left hemisphere, and tone of voice is processed in the right, almost exactly the same way it works in humans. On top of that, dogs are incredibly good at reading our emotional state. If you're feeling sad, your dog may come over and lie down next to you. They can read facial expressions and understand how we feel. And now the weaknesses of the dog mind. Of course, dogs aren't perfect. You've probably seen videos where a dog can't get through a doorway because it's holding a long stick, or tries to lie down on a tiny pillow while completely ignoring a huge comfy bed right next to it. Dogs struggle with abstract thinking. They don't plan far ahead. They live right here, right now. And there's also the mirror test. If an animal recognizes itself in a reflection, it's considered to have self-awareness. Chimpanzees do. Dolphins do. Elephants do. Dogs don't. But that doesn't mean they lack self-awareness. They simply rely on smell more than vision. In scent-based experiments, some dogs clearly show that they can distinguish their own smell from the smell of others. You've probably seen rankings of the smartest dog breeds, but these rankings only measure one thing: how quickly a dog learns commands. A Border Collie can learn a new command in just a few repetitions. An Afghan Hound may take dozens of times longer. That's because it was bred for hunting, where it needed to make decisions on its own. And if a beagle stops listening to you because it's following a scent, that's just its primary task taking over everything else. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.